there was something in you that attracted those red flags or that brought those red flags. At the time, once you addressed that, then things changed. I want to talk about that as we go through this because I think it's important to share from our experiences what was within us that gravitated towards that red flag. If you're open to it, because I think that's going to be really important for these listeners. Because yeah, dude, I think it's going to be fun too because I'm like, yo, man, that's when I was an alcoholic. But it's like, yo, man, it's freaking, not to joke about being alcoholic, but like, yeah, so we'll get into it. And the other one I forgot, so we're gonna get into that later. I'm sure it'll come back to
It'll come up.
It'll come up. It always does. So listen, let's tap into some red flags, bruh. Let's go. Oh, suck it now. Yes. Here we go. What's up, B?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Beautiful day out. Took the kid to a diner today. Got some good food. We went to the park. Let him run around a little bit. Got him nice and tired. Still wouldn't take a nap, but whatever. It is what it is. He has so much energy at that age, man. So much energy.
It's amazing. Yeah. It's like they never get tired. I wonder sometimes, especially because he's 2 now, right?
Yeah, a little over 2.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder if it's just the brain stimulation that there's so much that they start picking up on that they're like, I don't want to miss a freaking thing. So it's like they're just like.
Well, I mean that definitely is something too. Like the sensory overload just excites them. Yeah, but I think it's also too like maybe they just don't have all that stress in their body and everything like that because they're pretty much still new. I remember watching one time they took like fit guys and they're like, all right, I want you to do exactly the same movement this 3-year-old kid does through the whole day, and they were just gassed. Like they just go like run, boom, 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 up, up and down, like they're out of control. But it's a cool age of it.
God. Age. It's the best. It's like one of the best.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna test your patience, bro.
He just goes ape shit sometimes, and I look at Hayani. I'm like, somebody told us that we're gonna miss this one day, right? Like, let's embrace.
We won't. Yeah. Like we won't miss it at all, but we'll go through this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
dude. Bless up. I saw some pics. He was cheesing, boy. It's like he was at a pool. He was happy as a mug, man.
Put that kid near water, man. He's good.
Oh, bro. It's so beautiful, man. It's like watching kids grow up and their personalities develop, but like how they take in the world. It's such a reminder on the type of people I want in my life. You know what I mean? And I know in my experiences, there's been a whole leap of people that have come in my life where they show me the red flags, bro.
It's a marching band.
What, bro? They're like, but I'm like, I don't see a thing. I don't. What?
You're colorblind.
Exactly, bro. I'm like, is that green? Yeah, that looks green to me. Let's go right here. So, and the crazy thing too, B, is that it freaking can impact my life and in some crazy freaking ways. So you know what? I think we talk about this today.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. And for those, listen, this is Paul and Brian. Welcome to It's More Than Black or White Health Podcast. We are excited to be here with you. We're 2 health professionals, consultants. We want to make sure that you have all the tips and tools to have your health and well-being on a tip-top galactic level. Yes, I said tip-top galactic. That's on some next level shit. So that could be as you working on your own, you working with a naturopath, your conventional doctor, whoever. The main thing is that you have the tools to do what you need to take care of your health and well-being. And Brian and I have a plethora of topics that we cover. Go check the catalog and the receipts, baby. B, we're coming up on a year, son.
Coming up on a year. It's been awesome. It's been great.
Bruh,
Love it.
What a ride, bruv.
Woo! The beginning, man.
Woo!
We have topics of. We were talking about this last night. We're like, oh, how'd you guys come up with this topic? And we're like, we were actually doing a podcast, and we're like, that topic came up. We're like, oh, let's write this shit down.
Mm-hmm.
we always come up with new topics. We love it, and we get a lot of feedback too in our comments. Hey, can you talk about this? Can you talk about this? Absolutely. Let's chop it up.
Let's chop it up. And you know what? You know how I know we're on the right path? Because as you were saying that, as you were talking, there was a hawk that flew up in the sky. I'm like, hawks, by the way, I love that animal totem. So hawks are seeing the bigger picture, messages from spirit it brings. So you saying what I see, it's right over the house now because I see the shadow. Yeah. That's bruh. Oh my God. That's freaking. So listen, that was a green flag. Today we're going to talk about red flags. And but so I was thinking about this as I was getting prepped, because I wanted to make sure that, because this is free of the conventional stuff that we talk about, bro. Like this type of topic, it's not like it's about like any type of supplement or like type of diet or nutrition. I look at this as a different type of way of embracing health and well-being, man. So before we get into the red flags that we've come up with, let's talk about the reason we think that this is important to health and well-being, man. So I'll chime in, but I'm gonna have you go first because I've been talking too much.
Yeah, I mean, I think health and wellness it's a three-legged stool, right? We talked about this before. We got your physical, your movement, your exercise. You got to do all that. You have to have the right nutrition going in your body, and then you have the mental, emotional, and you have the spiritual. Yeah, it's funny, when I first started off my fitness journey, I was like, man, I still remember. I could probably tell you all 656 muscles in the body, what they do, where they origin, insertions, where the fibers run. I was a big nerd. I just studied under. I took a lot of courses on that. Nutrition, I'm pretty well versed in nutrition. There's always stuff that's coming up and down. The thing is, that's always missing in most people is the mental, emotional, and the spiritual aspect of it, and that takes a dump on you because you just don't. If you have bad thoughts, you have, your emotions are all over the place. You're not spiritually aligned with your legacy or your dharma, which is a good episode. You should watch that. You're gonna not eat right because you're not gonna, you're gonna be out of whack. Or even if you do eat right and you do work out, you're missing 1/3 of what makes your body healthy. So I like talking more about mental, emotional, because I think that's the most challenging aspect for me. Like I can go out there. I mean, I can work out, for 3 hours and then no problem. I can, climb mountains and shit like that. It's not a problem. I can be strict and eat clean, no problem. But sometimes, it's the mental, emotional. It's evolving your consciousness. You're trying to expand your consciousness, trying to learn new things and all the stuff that's kind of out there. And I'm learning stuff all the time. So, that's where I'm at with that.
Bro, I appreciate so much. I'm feeling what you're saying on the reasoning, and and I agree that usually the emotional and the mental component of health and well-being are really discussed or highlighted like the physical aspect, which is like you mentioned, it's one of the main pillars. I think it's so important that we do talk about these types of things. And I think it's important for us to talk about things like these red flags, because the people you have in your life or your environment, if your environment's challenging your values or what you're looking to accomplish in life, then it's going to be extremely difficult. If I'm going to be free of saying it's impossible, but it's going to be difficult for you to really get to where you want to get to, man. You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit, like, I don't know why I'm struggling, because the people you hang out with are trash. But and listen, I say that, and I'm speaking from experience, because I was joking and not. Like, I've been in relationships where I'm like, damn, man, like looking back on it now, I'm like, where the hell was I? Like, yo, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, you never notice it. You never notice it until you look, when you actually take a step back and you reflect on it with no emotion. You know what I mean? Like after a breakup, it's like just all emotion. It's hard to think logically through it. It's hard to like meditate on. You got to, like, after a couple of months, you look back, you're like, the fuck was I thinking? That would have never worked out.
Bro, I know, bro. Oh my God.
It's so
I've so
funny.
many
Like,
experiences.
it's so funny because life's is like, it's a full circle, man. It's a full circle. Like growing up, it's like your goal in life going through like middle school and high school is like accumulate so many friends. You want to be popular.
Yeah.
You want to, you want to have people like you. You just want to be like, almost like brag. Oh, I got hundreds of friends. And as you get older, man, like I don't want that many friends. Like, listen, I have a lot of meaningful people in my life. But I don't go out and look for, people. My inner circle is very, very small. It's very small, and very few people I trust that I can talk to, and that don't have any of these red flags that we're going to talk about today. Also, and with like relationships too. Like growing up, like I always went after the crazy bad girls. The ones that were just like, looking back now, I could say they're kind of fucked up because I tried to, like, almost like you try to save them. So it's like, why do you try to save them? And I always wondering, like, why am I trying to help people? Why am I trying to save people? It's never going to work, And it's like, maybe like I'm doing it because I'm missing something in me, and by me helping somebody else out, it makes me feel better, But it get to a point where it's like, it's so just energy draining dealing with like these people, and it's just like, just cut ties, man. I just want to like, that's what I love about my wife, man. I come home, it's peace, tranquility, no bullshit. It just, she's amazing. She's amazing.
That's
she's amazing.
it.
That's all I want. Very supportive for me.
Dude, okay, I want to highlight a couple things to make sure that we cover this in the podcast, because when I was looking these things up, I was like, damn, we got to talk about a couple of things, and you brought it up. First thing, there was something in you that attracted those red flags, or that brought those red flags. At the time, once you addressed that, then things changed. I want to talk about that as we go through this, because I think it's important to share from our experiences what was within us that gravitated towards that red flag, if you're open to it, because I think that's going to be really important for these listeners. Because dude, I think it's going to be fun too, because I'm like, yo, man, that's when I was an alcoholic. But it's like, yo, man, it's freaking, not to joke about being alcoholic, but like, so we'll get to it. And the other one I forgot, so we're gonna get into that later. I'm sure it'll come back to
it'll come up.
It'll come up. It always does. So listen, let's tap into some red flags, bruh. Let's go. B, I'm gonna have you kick it off, and then I'm gonna hook one up.
Yeah, I think the biggest one is like dishonesty, like people that frequently lie all the time and withhold information. So a lot of people like I've dealt with people before in, like, some past relationships where I have close friends, and I've broken up with the girl's broken up with me, or I found that she cheated on me, and they come back and they're like, she was like kind of always talking to that dude. And I'm like, dude, I was with her. Like, why wouldn't you tell me? He goes, and the reason is because they're scared of confrontation. You know what I mean? Not that I'd be mad at them, but they just didn't want to do this, so they try to stay in the corner. And to me, even though they weren't lying to me, they were being dishonest with me. Yes, so like, if you're my boy, I don't care how difficult it is that for you to take the news ball. Like, if something I know that is going to affect you, like, I'm going to come to you. I'm going to come to you, like, you're like my brother, man. We're gonna talk it out, and I got your back. But I want you to know, because I think the worst thing to our friendship is you find out that I knew all along, and I could have been doing something. I could have been telling you, guiding you in the right way. A lot of people, they don't like to be upfront. They just like going to stay in the background and pretend nothing's happening, or just like ignore it and be like, oh, it'll pass. I see this a lot. I see this a lot in relationships.
Dude, yeah. Listen, this is a big one, man. And this is something I've been on both sides of the coin in on, actually, when I was younger. Mm-hmm. And I know when I was younger, I'd be so resistant. I noticed, like, for people that were acquaintances, I'm like, man, I'm not even getting involved in that shit. Then they'd be like, motherfucker, you knew? I'm like, well, what had happened was, but like, the people that were really close to me, it was scary. It was a fearful place to tell them this news. Like, yo, man, listen, bro, I've been hearing this chick is messing with this dude. And there's been times like cats were mad at me because they had nowhere else to go with it. And I was like, I don't know why the fuck I told this cat. But like, yo, but it was real though, man, because so there's two components to that piece. It's like, first of all, it's a lack of, I get it because like I've been on the other end where people didn't tell me something that they knew. And I'm like, and it, for me personally, it hurt. And then I was angry because I'm like, damn, man, what else did you know that you failed to tell me? So now that seed is in my head, B, and I'm like, I can't even mess with you right now, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Moving forward, you're not my friend anymore. You're just an acquaintance that I see you. I'll be cordial with you. I'll be cool with you. But like emotionally, I'm just like, shut off. Next. Dude, you know, there's literally 8 billion people on this planet. I know I'm okay. You know, like you're not the only one, man. Moving on to find, you know, create more space in my life to attract different people in there. But I try not to be
for a reason.
Yeah. But I learned a lot doing these seminars or doing these podcasts with you. And it's like a part of me is like, when it happens, and it happens to me all the time, like with business and everything like that, people don't say anything or whatever, or people are being dishonest. And it's like, I can react in a certain way, or is it my karmic obligation that I'm fulfilling? Did I do something dirty to that person in a past life? Now it's reflecting back on me. So if I lash out at that person, it's just going again. It's going to keep going. So I'd rather just be like, all right, I forgive you. Cool. You know, but we're not, I don't want to be friends with you anymore, but we'll kind of go that way. I forgive you.
Yeah.
You know, to a certain extent, maybe a little too,
to a certain extent.
I still got a little ego in there, but you know.
Well, that ego though, it's important to note because that ego is what can help rebuild the trust. Yeah. Because now if I'm like, man, I can't trust you right now, we got to build this back up. And you bring up something that I think is important as we go into this. I think I'm going to make a disclaimer for both of us in the podcast. When we're talking about red flags, there may be some instances, I'm going to speak for myself, where I may be like, I cut that mother hoo-ha off, son. We're free of saying you got to cut people off. Yeah. And at the same time, it is a red flag. So what Brian was just saying, that there may be something that comes in where it's like, okay, it's a red flag. It gets me to stop and observe what's happening within me, within the relationship, whatever, because it may be something that I can learn from, or I was meant to get this lesson. So just being aware of this, not saying like you got to do this, blah, blah, blah. It's just things to be aware of in relationship and in other things.
Sometimes you gotta cut the cord, man. Like I think our purpose here, we gotta evolve. You're always trying to move ahead, trying to get better. You know, that person in your life that you think might have a red flag, what value do they bring to the table for you? What do they bring to the table for you? You know, if it takes you more than like 30 seconds to think about it, you don't need that person in your life. I'm not saying you gotta be an asshole to them, but you don't need that person in your life because they don't bring any value to you.
None, man. Yeah. It's gonna end up damaging B. It's gonna end up damaging them, B. I'm speaking from experience. Yeah. Because
our goal here is not to be a lifeguard on this planet. You know, we're not here to save everyone. You know?
No, bro, seriously, dude. You know this. OCB, you have something you want to add on to that?
No, go ahead.
So this actually plays into the red flag that I have, and substance abuse, bro. And like this one took me a while to really acknowledge, bro, because, bro, when I'm going through some shit, bro, yo, hook me up, yo, get me that 6-pack of Heineken. Let me get my freaking Knob Creek, man. I'm gonna go in the basement. I'm getting my bag. Yo, let me get a quarter. Yeah, it was difficult for me to acknowledge the red flag in the relationships I had with people that were substance abusers. Even some of the closest people I have in my life that are still in my life that I've had to disconnect from are substance abusers. And the reason why it was a red flag for me is because, like, first of all, that's a common behavior that I grew up with. You know, my dad abused alcohol. Like I mentioned, I abused alcohol and drugs. And fortunately, I was able to get myself out of it. And when I got out of it, I started to notice the impact of having people in my life that were substance abusers, specifically alcoholics. And I found that it was very frustrating for me to be in a relationship with them, because most of the time, like, especially when I got more sober, I still have a drink every now and then. We just hang out before, but I'm not getting sloppily drunk like, yo, we get behind the wheel, because that's what I was doing. I'd be like, now I get drunk and go to Uber, but back then I'm doing some stupid ass shit. I was like, dumb, bro. I mean, like, look, I'm happy, and like, truth be told, that was my intent back then, because I was doing a different thing. I was like, yo, I'll kill myself this way. But like, the thing is with substance abuse, like I'm talking about, like, I drink myself, get behind the wheel. That was the way I was killing myself. People that are substance abusers are slowly killing themselves. And the thing is when I'm in a relationship, close relationship with them, they slowly kill me too, because it's that environment can be very toxic, and most people, because they can grow up in some sort of abusive relationship, and or be. If you look at the TV and media, alcohol is like, yo, people are like, you know, having a cigarette, and they're like with their martini, like, hello, like, and it's cool, right? Like, so it's like there's nothing wrong with drinking, but substance abusers, they're hiding. They tend to hide or run from stuff, man, and they may start projecting that on you, and that energy, that type of behavior may come over on you. So be mindful of that shit, man. Mindful, bro.
Absolutely, that's a good one.
Thanks, man. You got another?
Oh man, I got a lot of them. Well, so one of them I think is huge is lack of accountability, man. People that refuse to take responsibility for their actions and consistently blaming others, as we know it as a victim role. I can't stand that shit, man. You know,
bruh.
You know, it's not their fault. It's everyone else's fault, and they just go around to complaining about it. I'm just like, I can't deal with that. It's just it gets me so angry, because I just like, maybe just like, you know, what I've been studying over the years. So like, you know, your thoughts create your reality. It's like, dude, you're causing this shit, you know, and you're not old enough on a mental, emotional level to realize, you know, that the way you're reacting, you know, it's like, it's a front you're putting up. It's a protective front, because you're so insecure about yourself that you can't admit that, hey, listen, I'm attracting this to my lifestyle, or maybe it's not these people, or like, you know, you see people all the time like, oh, my boyfriend or my girlfriend is so blah blah blah. What the fuck you doing with them? Literally 4 billion people of the opposite sex on the planet. Well, you're with this person, like, you know, and it's like, I don't want to hear this shit. And then you know, and I'm good sometimes, Rob. Like, I'll give advice, you know. But then these people, they turn into what they call, you ever hear the term an asshole, ASKHOLE?
Oh my God.
They ask for your advice, then you give it to them, and they do the complete opposite. Then they come back later and they ask for it again. I'm like, fuck you, man. Like,
like, I'm not giving you shit. You know, I'll be like, you know what? Let me send you an invoice. Once you pay that shit, then we'll talk again. Bro, that's such a damn good one. That's such a damn good one.
Well, people don't want solutions. They just want a soundboard. They just want to hear themselves talk and complain about it a little bit. They want you to have sympathy towards them. They want you to side with them, and then, you know, rinse and repeat. And the reality is, you're gonna wake up in 20 years, you're gonna be in the same situation you are, whether you're with the same guy or another guy, and you've been complaining about how shitty he is to you or she is to you, whatever it is.
Whatever, man. It's freaking crazy. I noticed, dude, this is such a good one. And it's people, please, if you have someone in your life that does this, that fails to take accountability, set those mother hoo-has free. Set them free. This is how I've been testing for this one, because this is something I would say probably in the past like 3 years I started becoming more aware of and practicing, like just checking people. And like when something goes wrong in someone's life, right? And they're telling me about it, or they ask me about it, or they blah, blah, blah. They're an asshole. I say, interesting. So I want to ask you, what are some things you think you may have done to contribute to this end result?
Oh, they don't
Now,
like that.
What, bruh? Don't do, yo, listen, fellas, don't do it in a relationship, so you're not ready for that fuego. Let me tell you right now, bro, they'll get your ass. But listen, this is very interesting because I've done this with friends. Like, I've done this with people in my life, and they've stopped talking to me, right? They've stopped talking to me, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I think this is important because, listen, if someone fails to take accountability, you are always at fault. You will tend to be at fault 99.9 infinite times, okay? Because that person is always the victim. Be very cautious and careful. If you ask somebody a question, hey, what would you think are some things that you possibly contribute to this? If they blow up at you, exit stage left, son.
Yeah.
Exit stage left. That's a great one, B. That's a great
or you have
one.
somebody that's like, or I'd be like, all right, what are you doing about it? Or what are you going to do to change it? And they're just like, it's almost like their brain like short circuits because they weren't ready for that. They're like, oh, I gotta take responsibility. I gotta be proactive. I'm like, come on, what are you doing about it? Otherwise, if you don't have a plan going forward, you're just going to go back and continue that vicious cycle around, So it's like, yeah, have a plan, be proactive.
Have a plan. All right, now here's another one I got. Oh, this one is this is anger management issues. Okay. Anger management issues. This is another one of these, B, that I've been on the other side of, on both sides of. Okay. So when this was a red flag in me because like I would blow up. I would have amygdala hijacks because I would hold shit. I'm a recovering people pleaser. So people would do stuff, B, and I'd be like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
B. And then like I would just blow up like, I freaking can't hit this golf ball. I would get like when I used to play golf back in the day, I would get so bad. I would like break. I was one of those cats that would break like clubs, like throw balls into the woods and shit, kick freaking grass, all that shit. And at the time, like I was unable to regulate my emotions. So I bring up anger management because if you see that you're in a relationship or you see someone that just completely blows up, and listen, it's going to happen, people. We're human. I'm not saying if you do it every now and then, oh my God, you're a terrible person. And I'm saying that when it happens, it's something to look at. Like, what have you been holding on to that you have yet to truly express yourself? So if you find that you're in a relationship, or you see someone that you're connecting with or you want to connect with, has uncontrollable anger on a regular basis, whatever a regular basis means to you. But if it happens frequent enough where you're like, damn, man, I don't know, like this much, do I got to put my dukes up?
Yeah,
that's an issue. That's a red flag. Be mindful. Exit stage left, or whatever you choose to do. Just detach. Yeah, that's what I got, bud.
Amen.
Got another one?
What about manipulative behavior, man? People using guilt or fear or pressure to try to control or influence you. I think that's a big one, especially guilt. I see guilt a lot. Like they try to make you feel bad about yourself for not helping them out more. Oh, like I remember you used to be such a good friend, and now you're not there for me anymore. And I'm like, fuck, like things have changed. Like, again, what value do you bring to the relationship? It can't be me doing 99% of it and you doing 1% of it every once in a while. Like, and I'm also at a point in my life where, like, I think this is true with a lot of people. Like, I have a lot of close friends. Some close friends I haven't talked to in months. But I can pick up the phone, we can hit it up. But there's other people out there that like want you to call them like every week, or like, oh, hey, thanks for calling. I haven't heard from you in a month. They're like, where have you been? I'm like, I didn't know we were dating. Like,
yeah, bruh, that is classic, bruh. That cracks me up. Like, yo, we're dating now, shit.
I didn't know I was into romantic relationships. Sorry, Oh,
bro.
Dude, yeah, a lot of people using that guilt and fear. Guilt.
Is this the same as gaslighting?
I guess.
Is it in the same?
Yeah.
Because almost like it could be in the same bucket. That's a tricky. Ooh, man, that manipulation one is serious business, bro.
Yeah, when somebody tries to make you feel guilty, I'm like, yeah, it's not. I don't have time for that shit.
Ooh, man. Oh, man. Okay, so this one that I got right here, this is a nuanced one, in my judgment. I want to hear. I'd like to hear feedback. A closet hater. Closet haters. Okay. Closet haters. Listen, this is most people will miss this one because the closet hater will usually come to you with a compliment. The thing is, the closet hater is going to most likely that comment is going to have some sort of tint of sarcasm, or the tone is going to be it's going to be less than congratulatory. Okay, I'm going to give an example. Like, hey, you just got a new job. Must be nice. Oh yeah, you gonna be driving, gonna get a new car now, huh? You gonna not hang out with us now? Okay, all right, yeah. See, congrats on the gig. Congrats on the gig. It's gonna sound like that. Okay, that person is not for you. Person's not for you. Okay, be cautious. I would almost classify that as a red yellow flag. If you hear someone saying that, because you may want to check them and be like, "Yo, are you happy for me?" Because your voice sounds suspect. But that's one of the things that's a red flag. Be mindful because like people that are really want to see you win, like you'll feel it in their energy. You'll feel it in what they're saying. If not, be cautious and dive a little bit deeper into that one, man. B, what's your thoughts about that? You think that's
What I'm hearing you say is you come with a win to your friend and you're like, being proud about it, and they make it about them.
Yes.
It's not about you.
Yes.
It's about
Yes.
them and how it affects their life moving forward.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, that's exactly it, B. That's it, dude. Yeah, it's man, and you got to really be an active listener to know, and also check in with your feelings. If something feels off about how someone's congratulating you, or like, hey, like, souping you up, like, be cautious. Yeah. What you got, B?
Inconsistency, man. That's annoying to deal with people that are inconsistent, like frequent changes in their behaviors, their attitude. They always tell like stories without any kind of like weird stories without any kind of really reason behind them. So it's like just people like are hot and cold all the time. They'll be like, yeah, let's do it. I'm ready. The next day they're just like, oh, I'm not motivated. I'm saying this more of like, because I work like I have jobs where I employ employees on the outside, and sometimes they're like, yeah. Then I'll get them on a Zoom call. Then like a couple days later, and they're just like, yeah, I didn't get around. They're like no energy, and I'm like, I like consistent people. I like to know what I expect. Listen, we all have good and bad days, but just to go from like such a high to such a low and be positive one day, be negative the other day, it's like, no, that's a big red flag, especially in business. Because you're gonna have your downs, but you want people to, when you have your downs, is to come not be the victim and be like, hey, listen, this didn't work out, and like there's no way around it. All right, what are we doing to get there? That's how you be successful. We got to work around it. What are we doing about it? Keep moving forward. But people that are up and high and low, they just take mental dumps. And when they're on that low, 9 out of 10 times, like I guarantee they're, like you talked about before with substance, they're probably using some kind of substance to kind of pick themselves back up, or doing something to kind of, but that's to me, that's dangerous. People that are inconsistent.
Very. Wow. Damn, dude, that's a powerful one. And I'm hearing in that is that the emotional inconsistency too, the emotional and mental, which is like what we're talking to. There's like, wow, that's such a deep one, man. And like that's really paying attention to. That's really paying attention to, because some people will be good at masking some stuff, but really you can tell in the energy, like, oh man, like something's off. Like there's certain people, the body language, dude.
Yeah,
brother, it's so, dude. That's one of the things. That's one of the things. As one of the many things I appreciate about you, man. Like, You're consistently curious and inquisitive. You'd be like, yo, I heard about this thing. I'm like, I'll give people, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Okay. So there's I get this suggestion about the Joe Rogan podcast about Terrence Howard, and I'm like listening to it. I'm like, yo, my man B is gonna freaking love this. I text Brian. I'm like, hey Brian, man, you gotta check out this Terrence Howard. He's like, just finished it. Sent it to Brian. I'm like, that's my dude. That's my guy.
My new male crush, man.
Bro.
Let's take a second out for that guy, man. That guy, like people are giving him a lot of bullshit. Like if you ever watched the Joe Rogan Terrence Howard episode, it's one of my favorite because I love it. Like everyone just shits on him because he's an actor. That's what everyone knows him for, and he just has this beautiful, amazing, intelligent mind. That's like. It's I'm getting like goosebumps thinking about like how does he we were joking about it last night where he was like what was that movie Hustle and Flow he's like whoa, how is he out there smacking pimps and hoes around and has that shit in his head? Like to me it just blows my mind. Like dude. It was just like he's going to change the world, man. He is going to change the world. Give it about people joking on him now, but you give it about another 5 or 6 years, he's going to change the world. Bless up to him.
Brother, you said that was
the real Iron Man.
That's right. Yeah, the real one, bro. Dude, it's so beautiful because like as you were talking about it, I was thinking about when he was talking, like his care and sincerity in sharing the information. It was like, I know you heard it. Like that's giving me goosebumps because it's like how much he cares about it, man. And like how much it means to just, even how he was sharing it with Joe Rogan. I was like, dude, this dude is on another plane, bro. Like literally. Yeah. Dude. Yeah. So bless up to Terrence Howard. Bless up to Joe Rogan for always doing some, he puts some good stuff. He gets the cats out there, bro. He gets the cats. Him and Shannon Sharp been doing some work. Bless up to those two. Bless up. Yeah. Oh shit, Club Shay Shay with Cat Williams. Yeah. We're gonna talk about that another time. Mm-hmm. But dude, yeah. So that was one of what you were talking about before, Brian. It almost played into another one I had, which was emotional intelligence, and I'm really gonna. I'm going to combine since you touched on that. I'm going to combine this with an inability to communicate. So I'm noticing that it's important if you're in a relationship with someone that's failing to communicate or willing to communicate what's happening for them or like what they're going through. I think that covers a lot of different spaces that we talk to. Or someone that's open to sharing what's going on for them. Like, so if you have people that are like, hey, what's going on? Nothing. Hey, what's your say? Not a thing. Like some people like that, right? But if you want to be in a relationship, that's a red flag because chances are that cat doesn't really want to share with you, or he or she may be like, I don't trust you enough to share my business. Either way, it's a red flag. Stop, pause, exit stage left, or investigate further. Know what's happening because that junk can be serious. Because if they're not communicating with you, that chances are they're holding something back. I've been on both this one too, bro. I've been on both this one. I swear to goodness, I think if I was a better communicator, I may still be married.
I think we all would have better relationships, but that's how as you grow, man. Like I'm not the same guy in relationships I was, probably even 5 years ago. You just grow, you evolve, you learn from your mistakes.
Oh boy, have I learned on that one? Oh Lord. God. Hey B, let's do this, man. I'm gonna have you do another one, and then let's dive into how people can address red flags. I think it's going to be important because as we're sharing this thing, I think this is great stuff. I just get a sense, and I think this is one of the reasons why we talked about this, is that people are going to, these red flags that we listed, it's going to resonate with a good amount of people, man. It may activate some things. So I think it's going to be fair that we share, like, how do you get out? How do you address these red flags, and how do you figure out how to move forward? So before we get to that, B, you got another one you want to share, bro?
Yeah, I got a couple of them. I mean, kind of going like the sister one with you, where you're talking about with being able to communicate. I think lack of empathy. People that can't put themselves in other people's shoes is big, you know. So they might be mad at another person, but you know, why do you think that other person did that? You know, and you got to kind of find the love in that other person. You have to put yourself in their shoes and be like, why'd that person do that? You know, sometimes you know, even if you know the truth of why that person did something, you know, it's you know, it doesn't mean you have to stay with them or you cut ties.
Yeah, bro.
So I don't know, that lack of empathy. I don't want to deal with people that really have, like, it kind of goes like you said, emotional intelligence. Like, you can't put yourself in other people's shoes. It's very tough to have a deep, meaningful conversation with somebody.
Yeah, B, that is another good one, man, because I think it ties into some of the other things we said before. How I experienced that, if someone fails to have empathy in a situation, they're always the victim, and they're failing to ever have accountability in my judgment. So I think that is a big one to deal with, man. Yeah, damn, man, we hit on some freaking red flags. Like I'm like sifting through like past thing, like wow.
Let me give you one more.
Yeah. Hook it up.
And I see this in business, and it actually happened to me maybe like a few months ago. We had another partner in some aggressiveness, like how people handle when shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
Verbal or physical aggression and like outbursts or anger or violence. So like we have like something happened with the business where like wasn't good, but one of my partners on the side, you know, most people would have blown up, and I was getting pretty heated, but he came into the conversation that he could have easily blown up and been like, all right, this is what it is. Let's deal with it. Where do we go from there? How do we make it not happen again? And let's kind of go forward. That I respect a lot in people. Somebody that can diffuse a volatile situation, just using their words and using their demeanor, their body language. That's powerful. Powerful. For most people nowadays, I mean, just look on YouTube and you see people flipping the fuck out all the time. They're fighting over shit in grocery stores. They're fighting, you know. Don't get me wrong. I've had my share of on the border road rages before, but you know, I think we've all been there.
Right, especially if you live in Jersey.
Personal. You know, they don't know me, man. It's okay.
Oh, yeah, dude, that's a potent one. Listen, because this has me. I always think it's important whenever I hear about aggressive. Can we take a moment and talk about this? Because I think this is important. Because there's aggressive and then there's assertive. And there could be a fine line because some people can perceive someone that's assertive as being aggressive. So can you share like
I think assertive would be like the difference, right? Like assertive, when you're assertive, you're having respect for yourself. You're setting a boundary. When you go into a rage, you're not thinking about anything. You're just blacking out. You're just swinging, or you're just shit's just coming out of your mouth. You're just like, you know,
freaking tornado.
Yeah, you don't care what happens. Where like, you know, you're not worried about the consequences of your actions or your words are saying to people. Where assertive, you're kind of calm. You're collective. You're letting them know, and you're setting boundaries with people. I think that's the biggest. What about you? You're a words guy.
Yeah, well, what you said, like the assertive is very clear and direct. And we talked about this when we were talking about language. That's why I wanted to take a pause to address this, because someone that is clear and direct it's like an arrow piercing through. They're like cutting through the fluff and the bullshit. It's just like, and at the same time, they're cognizant of what's around them. So it's like if they know someone's crying, they're not gonna be like, "You stop crying, you little motherfucker." It's just gonna be like, "Okay, listen, I get it. This is what's happening. I'm gonna give you some time to take care of this, and then we're gonna move forward." Cool.
Yeah.
All right, great. and it's being clear and direct, rather than be like, you dumb motherfucker, get your ass up in the. There's a tone, right? And there's and I think you mentioned there's a complete disregard for anyone's feelings. I'm gonna bulldoze this freaking situation. I don't care. I don't care about you, right? Assertive is like, yo, I have empathy, and we're gonna get this done. So that's how I see it too, man. That's how I view it. It's so cool, bro. That was great. All right, so. Dang, this was a good one. This is going to be one of our episodes that I'm listening to over again. I have a select few. We'll may share that. That may be like after our year anniversary.
Yeah.
I want to talk to for a moment just how to approach these red flags, because when I was going through when I was doing the research on this, I found this really cool article that talked about that I thought was very fascinating, how to address this. And that's why I want to take the time before we wrap up to at least share with the audience what are some things that you can do. And we talked about some of these already, Brian, when we were going through. So the three main things that they had, it was tact, honesty, and self-care. So tact comes into, what's that?
What was the first one? You're going to say it now, tact?
Oh, tact. Yeah, tact. Yeah, so actually, I want to look up that word because I have a perception of it. And a keen sense of what to do or say in order to maintain good relationships. Okay, yeah, my mind was on the right thing. So it's being able to, in alignment with what we're talking about, have empathy, bring awareness to the situation, and address it in a manner that is going to be in the best interest for everyone involved. Okay. And in doing that, that helps to build the relationship. So I think this comes into play where we talked about in the disclaimer before. It's outside of you having to cut ties with a person, and it could be an opportunity for you to learn more about yourself or what types of relationships are beneficial for you going forward. Yeah. The second one that they had is honesty. And when they talked about this, they've had a couple of things about some tips. And I think when you're talking about being honesty, it's about acknowledging your needs in the situation or the relationship. So if you're experiencing these red flags, like what is it that is alarming you? Okay, be honest. Like what is it bringing up for you? So if I see a red flag, I'm like, I don't trust you like my pops. That's not, well, maybe that's the situation, but regardless, there's going to be something that activates in me. So it's important to address any red flags, that I become honest about it and share what's coming up. As much as that may be uncomfy comps as it may be, still well worth it being.
100%. Right? Yeah.
And the last one, self-care. Take care of yourself. Let me tell you something. When dealing with red flags, you mentioned something so key, B, and this is going to hit me. I know it's going to hit me later on, like when I'm driving or some shit. It was and I just lost it. It was like when you're talking about self-care. Oh, saving people. We can't save everyone. Listen, I'm speaking for myself here. I have avoided red flags because I've been so blinded of being Captain Save or something. Okay. So listen, that can go a whole lot of ways. But I think it's important that we recognize, like in dealing with red flags, like, is this relationship or is this red flag damaging you in some way? If so, address it. Because if you fail to address it, like we've talked about this, like the energies, like what's being said to you, what's the environment, that will create dis-ease. So it's important that when these red flags come up for you, like do something about it, right? It doesn't have to say you have to cut them off, like we mentioned before. And there's different ways and tactics. B, what are your thoughts about those three, man? Is there any, like, as we go over that, like, is there anything else that you could think of or that came to mind that may be helpful in addressing red flags?
Yeah, I mean, I have like two of them are a little maybe outside the box, but especially like red flags with relationships. I think it's huge, like romantic relationships. I dated, women, a lot of women in my life, because I just, whatever. That's another story, but
that's another episode.
It's another episode. And but like each relationship I go into, I I come out of, and I'm like, I grow more. I'm like, all right, I don't look like that person. I broke up, or we broke up because that person did that to me. No, I like to be like, all right, how do I evolve? And like, all right, what did I do that was probably hindering the relationship? And Hayani, my wife right now, is definitely the first person, maybe because I just felt a certain way about her, and I was like, and I didn't want to catch feelings. I knew I would catch feelings with her really quickly. And so I put it all on the table. I was like, listen, it's like, I'm at a point in my life where I know what I want. And if I'm not getting it, or I have certain things I want to pursue in life and I'm not getting it, I'm only going to create resentment to the relationship. Like, I feel myself expanding, like, consciously, where I want to deal with plant medicines. I want to travel the world. I want to do these things. I want to set up multiple businesses. I want to have enough money where I can take care of like my family, my friends, and we can do fun shit, all that stuff. I was like, you need to be okay with that. Like, if you're not okay with that, even 1%, like, this is not going to work out. And we just cut our ways, and like, I'll say hi to you when we're at the gym, but like, this is what I need from you, and then let me know what you need from me. And I think a lot of times in relationships, the person doesn't really love the other person, because what I mean by that is, in 10 years from now, like, I'm different when I'm in my 20s, totally different when I'm in my 30s. And now I'm a totally different person than I was, and I know in my 50s, I'm going to be a different person. In my 60s, I'm going to be a completely different person. And each decade, you're totally different. Do you love me enough to support me in my dreams moving forward, no matter what it is? To me, that's true love. It's not what I can give to you, really, because you should have everything. Like, I don't need anything from her. Like, I have enough love for me. Like, yeah, I mean, there's certain things, like, I love the way she treats me, but I need to know that, like, I think almost like setting boundaries in the beginning, being honest up front, instead of just kind of diving into it and then not knowing what's going to happen after, say, 6 months to a year. Some people rush in really quick and they get married, and I'm like, oh, by the way, like, anti-vax, or like, I don't think that's right. Or I'm a more of a holistic guy, or I want this, or I want whatever it is, and that can create a lot of issues. That she's very religious. I'm very spiritual. We talk about it, but I don't, in no way, like, I will ever push her away. Like, that's your thing. That makes you, she's one of the best people I know. So, hey, it's working for you. Go for it.
Yeah.
But that is setting boundaries up front, which you like, kind of what we talked about before. Another one I think is too, it's like, I'm a big believer, like, quantum physics, man. Everything is frequency. So if some mouth breather pisses me off one day, I'm like, all right, what did I do?
Mouth breather.
What did I do to attract this fucking guy in my life? Like,
mouth breather.
And I have fun with it too. I can laugh at it. I joke around, but like, it's like, all right, what am I feeling? I'm feeling a certain way in me, or something's in my subconscious that I'm attracting this trash to me. I shouldn't say trash, or piece of God, but like this this low vibing mouth breather, So
yep, like this guy, this jabroni ass dude. So, dude, these are so. First of all, that mouth breather just freaking gets me. I love that. And dude, it's wild, because the setting boundaries was actually in that article for how you deal with the red flags. It was number 6 out of, like, I think 10 or 9 or 10. So when you said that, I was like, yep, dude, it's so important, man, because I'm even finding that now as I'm like, I don't even know if it's dating. I really consider more interviews to make sure, like, hey, listen, this is where I'm at. Like, very similar to like exactly what you said. Like, hey, this is where I'm going in my life. I'm exploring things. Like, if you're cool with that, cool. If not, then, like, we could part friends. Like, if I see you, hell yeah, man, we'd be like, hey, man, give me a dap, a hug or something. I'm a hugger.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to have those boundaries so that people know, like, where you're coming from, like, what you value, what's important to you. Because if people are, and again, this comes back to communication too, B. It's like, if people are able to communicate what they want, who they are, then it's like, it's going to be easier for that other person to know, like, all right, is this a relationship I want to pursue, Or am I BSing myself thinking that they're going to change? Because most likely they're not. Okay, so get it out all on the table right now. The thing is, in relationships, most people fail to do that, and then they get in relationships, and then they're unfamiliar with how to even set a boundary. And you can always set a boundary, people. If you can always set a boundary. So just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. That was good. And the frequency, bless up to the frequency. We got an episode on that, by the way.
That was a good one. Okay. That was my favorite. I love talking to stuff like that.
Dude, bro.
Anything with that. Dude, Terrence Howard, I got the things going in my head, man. I gotta watch that. I gotta watch that episode again.
Yeah, I'm watching it again, hands down. Probably tomorrow, man. Just like zone out and chill in the garden with that piece. And brother, I gotta tell you, the Hermetics episode.
That was good. That's coming out soon, right?
Yeah. That was that. I'm like, I'm listening to that editing. I'm like, yo, oh God, I'm excited.
Anything with Big Frank in there, man, it makes it good.
Bro, that's man.
He bailed on us last night.
Listen, man, he's got to make that up. His next 7 rounds are all on him.
Yeah,
next 7 rounds all on Frank. All right, yeah, we're gonna clip this as a short.
Bring that credit card, man.
That's right, man. That's right. Yeah. Yo, bless up. Yo, listen, man. This was fun. This was so fun.
This is good.
And I'm so happy we got this episode out because I think this is important for people's health and well-being, like to really be able to acknowledge the red flags that they're seeing in their life and know what to do to address that junk, man. What? Shit. B, any last words before we say peace out to the peoples?
I got nothing, man. I got nothing. I talked enough.
Brother,
I'm just gonna say, listen, I appreciate you all out there, man. We got a lot of views in, man. We're rolling around the 8,000 views now, 250 subscribers. Our goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers. So, please share this, like this, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. That helps us out a lot, gives us motivation. Write in the comments too, like what episodes you want to learn or, do you want us to talk about? I love it. I love learning new things. I don't care if it's like way out in left field. Hey, we'll chop it up, man. All right. We plan on being here for a while, so let's do it.
Bring the goodies. Bring those topics, man. Bless up. Like, share, subscribe. All that good stuff. I could have said it at the beginning, and I'm saying it now. God damn it. Thank you all for joining. If it's the first time that you heard that you've been here, thank you for being here with us. Like, subscribe. So every Wednesday we're coming out with goodies. And if you're subscribed, you're most likely seeing our shorts. Bless up, man. We're getting this stuff out there, man. You little clips. Go check out the episodes and share the shorts. That will lead people to the episodes as well. So bless up to you all. Thank you. We are grateful.